organic social media is not dead. You heard me. It is not dead. Yes, maybe it's a lot different than what it used to look like. Like you could post and all of a sudden magically have tons of followers and tons of engagement. And maybe that looks different now. And by maybe, I mean it does. But it's not dead. And the huge thing here is being able to storytell and talk about your brand and talk about what matters to you is what drives success organically. Yes, we can talk long and hard about paid and why that's so important, but today I'm here to talk about organic and how to actually grow organically without throwing money at a wall and praying it sticks. So let's get into it. First and foremost, a strategy is so important. And yes, you will hear me talk about this all the time. And not like the foo-foo, okay, here's my goal and maybe I can hit it. Talking about a strategy is actually diving into who your target audience is, what your goals are, what does that voice mean? Do you have giveaways? Are there actual substance to get to that goal too? But ultimately, you need your personas to go after. So if you don't know primarily who your customer base is, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is figure out who your audience is and how to talk to them. Because ultimately, that does help you figure out what social platform you should be on first and then how to speak to them and if you should add other social platforms there. You're going to hear a lot from me about talking about don't go on every social platform just because everyone else says you should. You really need to be perfect, and by perfect I mean as good as you can get on one social platform before you start adding more. So let's just dive into, let's say, Facebook. Yes, Facebook is an interesting one right now, and I know so many people are like, organic is 100% dead on Facebook. You always have to pay for it. Well, yes, sometimes you have to boost. You don't always have to, but you do need to use a strategy to be able to help you. So first and foremost, Facebook, I like to call it mom book or grandma book because the age range is a little bit older there. And most people go on Facebook for actual value ads. Yeah, pictures are pretty, all of that, but we're looking for value on Facebook. So what kind of value can you give to your audience through your posts? Blogs are great, but actual in-depth information about maybe sourcing or behind the scenes about looking at what your products do, helping people understand that piece will actually help you cater to that audience more. The other thing is on Facebook, people are much more susceptible to purchasing. So don't become that used car salesman in every post. The other thing here is really diving into not using tactics like you would on other social platforms. If you're an event-based company, yes, hashtags are important, but other than that, they are not important on Facebook. Please stop trying to use that toggle button on Instagram that every post on Instagram goes to Facebook. You look sloppy and you look lazy. That is not what we want. We want to individualize each social platform so you can grow it organically, not so you go like this and go, well, I don't get why social media doesn't work for me. So when we're thinking about Facebook by itself, little thing right here, right? What you want to do is make sure that your posts, yes, maybe are a little bit more lengthy, but have a clear call to action going to your website or going to something that matters to your audience. Sometimes it could be a partnership with another brand that can help elevate you too, right? Making sure that you're being able to tag other people, to engage in other people helps grow on all social platforms, but mostly on Facebook because it is a slow grow. So as we're thinking about growing Facebook, and I'll have much more videos on specific on Facebook, but when you're thinking about that, please make sure that you're actually interacting with anyone and everyone that is commenting or liking your posts. They actually care and they see your content in their feed. So you need to go the extra mile and use that customer service to make them feel like you are attentive to them. Act like your Facebook is as if someone is going into your store, even if you don't have a brick and mortar store, and act like the customer service agent that would help them, that would guide them, that would just talk to them. Don't just say, "Thanks so much, Sally, for writing us." That means nothing. They get that from every other brand. Go the added extra step and make them feel like you were their best friend because they want that feeling. That's Facebook. Instagram. While Instagram is so much fun, a lot of companies are like, my engagement's so down, I don't understand. What can I possibly do to make this better? Well, while grids are still super important and we want that to still look like that catalog as if someone was flipping through a magazine and understanding your brand, it also needs to be authentic. Stop photoshopping. Stop overdoing your photo shoots. These types of shoots make people feel like they don't care about your brand. They want to see themselves in there. Unless you're going after the highest degree of person, that influencer, the girl that maybe wants to be the celebrity, you need to start to make yourself realize that it is important that the brand feels like your audience. So have the girl next door, the boy next door, have the feeling of that you're showing your warehouse. It's okay not to be perfect, and people are looking for not being perfect because we see through that insta fake kind of posting. The other piece here is, yes, hashtags are still super important when it comes to organic growth. Please, whatever you do, stop using the same hashtags on every post. And just changing one or two is also not going to help you. The other piece here is just because you have hashtags doesn't mean that you're just going to show up in an Explorer feed. You need to do the work. That is why so many people like agencies, because we actually do that. But if you have someone in-house that can actually go in and go into your followers, talk to them, make them feel good. Don't just DM them like a used car salesman. Yes, I use that a lot. But what you need to be doing is actually going into your followers and caring about them, making sure you realize that they know that they feel that love and support. Give them an extra 20% off just because they follow you, but don't post it in your feed. Direct message them, go to them, make them feel like you are actually taking that extra step to go in and give them that value. The other piece of this is making sure that you go to your competitors, look at their followers, and start following them. Make them feel important too. It can't just be about your own followers. If you're trying to grow organically, it does take time and it does take effort, but these are the steps to make you actually successful organically. The other thing on Instagram especially is using Instagram stories and reels perfectly. Hide your location in the back of a post in your story. I know that seems silly, but it will get to a different demographic than you were reaching just by doing your post. Don't do what everybody else does, which is putting a post and going, new post here with a big sticker in the story. What you want to do is have fun with it, right? Maybe put a couple of pictures within that story. Say, click here for more, but also hide fun hashtags behind those posts, behind those pictures in the story, so it can get into different people's feeds. Same thing goes for reels. Instagram is putting a lot more time and effort in showing reels than anything else right now. So if you're not doing that and you're not taking advantage of it, that is where you're missing the organic growth, because it is being shown to new people all the time. Stay consistent though, and make sure that you have a different strategy from your grid to your stories to your reels. That's super important. On to TikTok. TikTok is absolutely my favorite social platform out there, mostly because it's fun. If your strategy is just to be, this is us, bye, you're missing the mark on TikTok, and it's not the audience for you. What's important with TikTok especially is having fun. People talk about creating content all the time on there and storytelling and just being themselves. So what is your brand to you? Who is it? Are you the fun, silly type, or are you the sophisticated one? Whatever that is, that personality needs to come out on TikTok. That doesn't mean that you need to be dancing and doing every single trend, but you should be having fun so that the person on the other side that is scrolling constantly for hours is actually making sure that they care about what you're actually talking about. So when you're looking at TikTok, sometimes hashtags work, sometimes they don't. It is a lot about testing, which is sometimes fun and sometimes not, but ultimately it's also about interacting with other like-minded, but also people that you're trying to get in front of. If you just go in on TikTok and post your video and then get out of the app right away, it will not be successful unless you've grown your audience to a certain point. Right now, what you really need to be doing is doing like the 80-20 rule. 20% should be about posting and 80% should be about interacting. Interact with people that you want to be interacting with your brand. It is so important. And no, I'm not just talking about commenting on the post like, good job, Jane. No, give them reasons to come find out who you are and why. There are so many different tactics that you could be doing to grow organically on TikTok that I know I'll have a completely different video about that. But please remember that organic is not dead. You just need to be changing the way you do things to make it work for you.